Start the 13th chapter.
Should I put it on the screen, Mataji?
Ah,
Should I put this on the screen so that everybody can read?
yeah, you can do that. It's nice thing.
Just give me a moment.
But I'm not going to keep my videos on because my connectivity is not so good here.
Yeah, Mataji, I'll just take that on the other screen. With the
Mataji,
yes, what happened?
Prabhuji might not be able to share the screen because he doesn't have the sharing rights.
Okay, he's a co-host now. He can do that. Neeraj Prabhuji is the co-host now. You can share the screen.
yes, Mataji. So
Now, Dhritarashtra quits home. It's again a very wonderful chapter. Powerful verses are there. Vidura speaking. Sutuvacha. Viduras tirthayatrayam maitrayadatmanogatim gyatva gad dhastinapuram tatha vapta vivitsitah. Sutuvacha. Sutu Goswami says. Now again, we are back to Suta Shaunaka Samvad. There are different Samvadas. Suta Shaunaka Rishi Samvad. After hearing from Sukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami comes to Naimisharanya, relates all what he has heard. Now here the same thing now, Suta Goswami says that after traveling Tirtha Yatrayam, different places, Vidura got the knowledge. He received the knowledge of the destination of the self from whom? From Maitreya Rishi. Vidura Tirtha Yatrayam, Maitrayad. Maitrayad means from Maitreya Rishi. Atmanah Gatim, the knowledge of self, getting the destination. That is known as self-realization. What is self-realization? Understanding that I am eternally the servant of Lord. And to know how to reach to Lord. That is the important thing. How to reach to Lord, the process, the self-realization. So he got the knowledge of the destination. When after that is why you'll find also Maitra Vidura Samvad here in Bhagavatam. Then he went back. Agata Hastinapuram. He went to Hastinapur. Kaya avapta vivitsitaha. So he became well versed in the subject as he desired. Vivitsitaha. Vivitsita means well versed in the subject. So that is a mercy of Maitri Rishi towards Vidura. That is how the knowledge of self-realization is given by the Acharya to the disciple. Guru Shishya Parampara, that is why it's very much important. One cannot get the knowledge by studying. Nayam Atma Pravacena Labhyas Na Medhaya Na Bahuna Shutena. By our knowledge, we may be very intelligent, high-class intelligent person. But very clearly it has been given, Nayam Atma Pravacena Labhyas. Even if I do hundreds of pravachan also, it is not necessary I should get the knowledge. Na medhaya, nor by my intelligence. Na shutena, neither by hearing also. Whoever Krishna has selected, it will happen. Yameva isha vrutatena labhyas tasaita tanute tanuswam. Tasaita atma vrute tanuswam. It is only by Krishna's mercy, and Krishna's mercy flows through our dedication to our acharyas. Sometimes we think, okay, I'll hear from here, I'll hear many classes, I'll hear from this source, from that source. Again, very clearly it has been given. In Bhagavatam it is said, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriye, sevon mukhai jivadu swayam eva spurtiyada. It's again a powerful verse. Atha Shri Krishna Nam Adi. To know about Krishna, to know about his name, everything. It's not by my own endeavor. I can try out. I should do also. I should try it also. It's not that I should not try it. But again, if I don't have the service attitude to say, "Oh, Mukai Jivada," the more we serve, the more we serve. So today I was hearing about Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's offerings and how he served Srila Prabhupada, all meals, services, everything, being a Coca-Cola director. And he used to do all the services. And he did till his last breath. So that is why the knowledge automatically flows. And that is how he can give that knowledge to others also. The Sevan Mukhai Jiva, the very important. So Vidurva Tirthayatrayam, Maitraya, he met Maitri Rishi, served Maitri Rishi gave him the knowledge. And that is how he became well versed in that subject. And then he gave this knowledge. Vidura is going to give this knowledge to Dhritarashtra, thus giving the strength to Dhritarashtra to quit the home. The whole subject is based on this. Dhritarashtra, even after the war, he was there under the care of the Pandavas. Let's see how shameless he must be. He is the cause for the whole fight and still is trying to be dependent on the Pandavas. There's a the word is used like a dog. Don't be like a dog. Anyhow, let us see this verse. Dayasagar Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Sutta Uvacha Vidurastirtha Yatrayan Maitreya Datmano Gatim Yatvagat Hastinapuram Tayavatha Vivitsitaham. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Sutta Goswami said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya and then returned to Hastinapura. He became as well versed in the subject of as he desired. Purport. Vidura, one of the prominent figures in the history of Mahabharata, he was conceived by Vyasadeva in the womb of the maidservant of Ambika, mother of Maharaja Pandu. He is the incarnation of Yamaraja. Being cursed by Maduka Muni, he was to become a Shudra. The story is narrated as follows. Once upon a time, the state police caught some thieves who had cancelled themselves in the hermitage of Mandakamuni. The police constables, as usual, arrested all the thieves and Manduka Muni along with them. The magistrate specifically punished the Muni to death by being pierced with a lance. When he was just to be pierced, the news reached the king, and he at once stopped the act on consideration of his being a great Muni. The king personally begged the Muni's pardon for the mistake of his men, and the saint at once went to Yamaraja, who prescribed the destiny of the living beings. Yamaraja, being questioned by the Muni, replied that the Muni in his childhood pierced an ant with a sharpened straw, and for that reason he was put into difficulty. The Muni thought it unwise on the part of Yamaraja that he was punished for the childish innocence, and thus the Muni cursed Yamaraja to become a Shudra, and this Shudra incarnation of Yamaraja was known as Vidura, the Shudra brother of Dhritarashtra and Maharaja Pandu. But this Shudra, son of the Kuru dynasty, was equally treated by Bhishmadeva along with his other nephews, and in due course Vidura was married with a girl who was also born in the womb of a Shudrani by a Brahmana. Although Vidura did not inherit the property of his father, the brother of Bhishmadeva, still he was given sufficient state property by Dhritarashtra, the elder brother of Vidura. Vidura was very much attached to his elder brother, and all along he tried to guide him on the right path. During the fratricidal war of Kurukshetra, Vidura repeatedly implored his elder brother to do justice to the sons of Pandu, but Duryodhana did not like such interference by his uncle, and thus he practically insulted Vidura. This resulted in Vidura's leaving home for pilgrimage and taking instructions from Maitreya. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So Vidura has heard from Maitreya, and now he is filled with the knowledge, and he has come to Hastinapur. Yavatah kritavan prashnan shata kaushara jataika bhaktir govinde tebhyashchopara ramaha. So now, the knowledge comes by question answers. After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya. So, Vidura retired from putting questions before Maitreya Rishi when he was completely convinced by Maitreya Rishi that Samanbanam is to be finally situated in the transcendental loving service of Lord. There were many questions put, but the Saman Bonam was understood very nicely that what is the Saman Bonam? One has to serve Lord very nicely. The more we serve, the knowledge is revealed. Yavataha kritavan prashnan. So many questions were asked. But then, when the bhakti means loving service, the complete conviction has come. Yes, by loving service, I can understand this knowledge. So that is how he became fixed up in the loving service of Lord. And Vidura retired from putting questions to, retired means now there are no more questions asked. Prabhupada is to ask one simple question to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Always this only question: how best I can serve you, my spiritual master? This is the only question Mr. Prabhupada always to ask. And he can see the knowledge pours from Srila Prabhupada, pours out. The service is important. Service attitude will uplift a person and give this knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Okay. Vimla Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 2. Yavatah kritavan prashnan kshata kaushara vagratah jataika bhakti govinde tebhischota ramah. Translation. After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. Purport: Vidura retired from putting questions before Maitreya Muni when he was convinced by Maitreya Rishi that the summum bonum of life is to be finally situated in the transcendental loving service of Lord Shri Krishna, who is Govinda, or one who satisfies his devotees in all respects. The conditioned soul, the living being in material existence, seek happiness by employing his senses in the modes of materialism, but that cannot give him satisfaction. He then searches after the supreme truth by the empiric, philosophic, speculative method and intellectual feats. But if he does not find the ultimate goal, he again goes down to material activities and engages himself in various philanthropic and altruistic works, which all fail to give him satisfaction. So, neither fruitive activities nor dry philosophical speculation can give one satisfaction, because by nature, a living being is the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and all the Vedic literatures give him directions towards that ultimate end. The Bhagavad Gita 15.15 confirms this statement. Like Vidura, an inquisitive conditioned soul must approach a bona fide spiritual master like Maitreya, and by intelligent inquiries must try to know everything about karma, fruitive activities, jnana, philosophical research for the supreme truth, and yoga, the linking process of spiritual realization. One who is not seriously inclined to put questions before a spiritual master need not accommodate a show-bottle spiritual master, nor should a person who may be a spiritual master for others force to be so if he is unable to engage his disciple ultimately in the transcendental loving service of Lord Sri Krishna. Vidura was successful in approaching such a spiritual master like Maitreya, and he got the ultimate goal of life, bhakti unto Govinda. Thus, there was nothing to be known further about spiritual progress. Hare Krishna.
Okay. तं बन्धुमागतं दृष्ट्वा धर्मपुत्रसहानुजः धृतराष्ट्रो युयुत्सुश्च सुतः शारदवतः पृथा गान्धारी द्रौपदी ब्रह्मन् सुभद्रा चोत्तरा कृपी अन्याश्च जामया पाण्डोर्ज्ञातयः ससुता स्त्रियः तं बन्धुम् आगतं. So all the inhabitants, all the relatives, they saw Vidura returning. Drishtva Dharmaputraha Saha Anujaha. So Dharmaputraha, all his brothers, then Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthira with his brothers, Yutsuhu, Satyaki, Sanjaya, Kripacharya, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripi, Jamajaya, wives of the family members, Jamayaha, then Pandava, all the Pandavas, Gyatyaha, family members, along with his sons, what they saw. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, they hurried to him in great delight. Agatam, have arrived there. Naturally, you will hurry only. No? That word has been not specifically put in the word-to-word translation. You will say where it is written, all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they regained their consciousness after a long period. How to understand this? Because these are the extra sentences which has been written. Isn't it? If you see word-to-word translation, there is no mention that they have all gone. But yes, agatam, this word is there. Agatam, suswagatam. When we say suswagatam, agatam, drishtvaha. Then actually, how you do agatam? When the person comes, how you welcome him? with all great delight. That's why Prabhupada writes here, with all great delight, Vidura has been welcomed by Dhritarashtra, by Yudhishthira and his brothers. That is how they approached. And this verse can be the extra sentences which has been written, that is actually correlating how it has come because of the fifth verse. If you see the fifth verse, it has been given. That is why it has been again put. Praharshena. If you see the fifth verse, just see. Prati ujgamuhu. They went with great delight. Pranaha tanvaha. Agatam. When he came back, so when they saw him, the life entered their bodies. That is why it has been put here. So somebody just reads this much, 3 and 4, they'll think that what is this extra words has been put? It's not extra words, it has been just repeated. Fifth verse is repeated in the third and fourth translation. Okay. Narayana and Jumur, both of you share big purpose.
Yes, Mataji. Tam bandhumaagatam drishtva dharmaputra sahanujah dhritarashtro yuyutsuscha sutah sharadvatah sharadvatah pratha Gandhari Draupadi Brahman Subhadra Chottara Krupi Anyascha Jamaya Pando Ajnat Jnatayah Sasuta Striyah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthir, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Sanjaya, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripi, many other wives of the Kauravas, and other ladies with children all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. Purport: Gandhari, the ideal chaste lady in the history of the world. She was the daughter of Maharaj Subala, the king of Gandhara, now Kandahara in Kabul, and in her maiden state, she worshipped Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is generally worshipped by Hindu maidens to get a good husband. Gandhari satisfied Lord Shiva, and by his benediction, to obtain 100 sons, she was betrothed to Dhritarashtra despite his being blind forever. When Gandhari came to know that her would be husband was a blind man, to follow her life companion, she decided to become voluntarily blind. So she wrapped up her eyes with many silk linens, and she was married to Dhritarashtra under the guidance of her elder brother Shakuni. She was the most beautiful girl of her time, and she was equally qualified by her womanly qualities, which endeared every member of the Kaurava code. But despite all her good qualities, she had the natural frailties of a woman, and she was envious of Kunti when the latter gave birth to a male child. Both the queens were pregnant, but Kunti first gave birth to a male child. Thus Gandhari became angry and gave a blow to her own abdomen. As a result, she gave birth to a lump of flesh only. But since she was the devotee of Vyasadeva, by the instructions of Vyasadeva, the lump was divided into 100 parts, and each part gradually developed to become a male child. Thus, her ambition to become the mother of 100 sons was fulfilled, and she began to nourish all the children according to her exalted position. When the intrigue of the Battle of Kurukshetra was going on, she was not in favor of fighting with the Pandavas. Rather, she blamed Dhritarashtra, her husband, for such a fratricidal war. She desired that the state be divided into two parts for the sons of Pandu and her own. She was very affected when all her sons died in the battle of Kurukshetra, and she wanted to curse Bhimasena and Yudhishthir, but she was checked by Vyasadeva. Her mourning over the death of Duryodhana and Dushasana before Lord Krishna was very pitiful, and Lord Krishna pacified her by transcendental messages. She was equally aggrieved on the death of Karna, and she described to Lord Krishna the lamentation of Karna's wife. She was pacified by Srila Vyasadeva when she showed her dead sons, when he showed her dead sons, then promoted to the heavenly kingdoms. She died along with her husband in the jungles of the Himalayas near the mouths of Ganges. She burned in a forest fire. Maharaj Yudhishthir performed the death ceremony for his uncle and aunt. Pritha, daughter of Maharaj Shurasena and sister of Vasudev, Lord Krishna's father. Later, she was adopted by Maharaj Kunti Bhoja, and she is known as Kunti. She is the incarnation of the success potency of the personality of Godhead, Yasha. The heavenly denizens from the upper planets used to visit the palace of King Kunti Bhoja, and Kunti was engaged for their reception. She also served the great mystic sage Durvasa, and being satisfied by her faithful service, Durvasa Muni gave her a mantra by which it was possible for her to call any of the demigod she pleased. As a matter of inquisitiveness, she at once called for the sun god, who desired couplement with her, but she declined. But the sun god assured her immunity from virgin adulteration, and so she agreed to his proposal. As a result of this couplement, she became pregnant, and Karna was born by her. By the grace of the sun, she was again turned into a virgin girl, but being afraid of her parents, she quitted the newly born child Karna. After that, when she actually selected her own husband, she preferred Pandu to be her husband. Maharaj Pandu later wanted to retire from family life and adopt the renounced order of life. Kunti refused to allow her husband to adopt such a life, but at last Maharaj Pandu gave her permission to become a mother of sons by calling some other suitable personalities. Kunti did not accept this proposal at first, but when vivid examples were set by Pandu, she agreed. Thus, by the dint of the mantra awarded by Durvasa Muni, she called for Dharmaraja, and thus Yudhishthir was born. She called for the demigod Vayu, air, and thus Bhima was born. She called for Indra, the king of heaven, and thus Arjuna was born. The other two sons, namely Nakula and Sahadev, were begotten by Pandu himself in the womb of Madari. Later on, Maharaj Pandu died at an early age, for which Kunti was so aggrieved that she fainted. Two co-wives, namely Kunti and Madari, decided that Kunti should live for the maintenance of the five minor children, the Pandavas, and Madari should accept the sati rituals by meeting voluntary death along with her husband. This agreement was endorsed by great sages like Satashranga and other present in the occasion. Later on, Later on, when the Pandavas were banished from the kingdom by the intrigues of Duryodhan, Kunti followed her sons, and she equally faced all sorts of difficulties during those days. During the forest life, one demon girl, Hidimba, wanted Bhima as her husband. Bhima refused, but when the girl approached Kunti and Yudhishthir, they ordered Bhim to accept her proposal and give her a son. As a result of this combination, Ghatotkacha was born, and he fought very valiantly with his father against the Kauravas. In their forest life, they lived with a Brahmana family that was in trouble because of one Bakasur demon, and Kunti ordered Bhima to kill the Bakasur to protect the Brahmana family against troubles created by the demon. She advised Yudhishthir to start for the Panchala Desha. Draupadi was gained in this Panchala Desha by Arjuna, but by the order of Kunti, all five of the Pandavas' brothers became equally the husbands of Panchali or Draupadi. She was married with five Pandavas in the presence of Vyasadeva. Kunti never forgot her first child Karna, and after Karna's death in the battle of Kurukshetra, she lamented and admitted before her other sons that Karna was her eldest son prior to marriage with Maharaj Pandu. Her prayers for the Lord after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Lord Krishna was going back home, are excellently explained. Later, she went to the forest with Gandhari for severe penances. She used to take meals after each 30 days. She finally sat down in profound meditation and later burned to ashes in a forest fire.
Draupadi, the most chaste daughter of Maharaj Drupad and partly an incarnation of the goddess Shachi, the wife of Indra. Maharaj Drupad performed a great sacrifice under the superintendence of the sage Yaja. By his first offering, Drishtadyumna was born, and by the second offering, Draupadi was born. She is therefore the sister of Drishtadyumna, and she is also named Panchali. The five Pandavas married her as a common wife, and each of them begot a son in her. Maharaj Yudhishthir begot a son named Pratibhit. Bhimasen begot a son named Sutasoma. Arjuna begot Shrutakirti. Nakula begot Shatanika, and Sahadeva begot Shruta She is described as a most beautiful lady equal to her mother-in-law Kunti. During her birth, there was an arrow message that she should be called Krishna. The same message also declared that she was born to kill many a Kshatriya. By dint of her blessings from Shankara, she was awarded 5 husbands equally qualified. When she preferred to select her own husband, princes and kings were invited from all the countries of the world. She was married with the Pandavas during their exile in the forest, but when they went back home, Maharaj Drupad gave them immense wealth as a dowry. She was well received by all the daughters-in-law of Dhritarashtra. When she was lost in a gambling game, she was forcibly dragged into the assembly hall, and an attempt was made by Dusashan to see her naked beauty, even though there were elderly persons like Bhishma and Drona present. She was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and by her praying, the Lord himself became an unlimited garment to save her from the insult. A demon of the name Jatasur kidnapped her, but her second husband, Bhimasen, killed the demon and saved her. He saved the Pandavas from the curse of Maharshi Durvasa by the grace of Lord Krishna. When the Pandavas lived incognito in the palace of Virata, Kichaka was attracted by her exquisite beauty, and by arrangement with Bhima, the devil was killed and she was saved. She was very much aggrieved when her 5 sons were killed by Ashwatthama. At the last stage, she accompanied her husband Yudhishthir and others and fell on the way. The cause of her falling was explained by Yudhishthir, but when Yudhishthira entered the heavenly planet, he saw Draupadi gloriously present there as the goddess of fortune in the heavenly planet. Subhadra, daughter of Vasudev and sister of Lord Sri Krishna. She was not only a very dear daughter of Vasudev, but also a very dear sister to both Krishna and Baldev. The two brothers and sister are represented in the famous Jagannath temple of Puri, and the temple is still visited by thousands of pilgrims daily. This temple is in remembrance of the Lord's visit at Kurukshetra during an occasion of solar eclipse and his subsequent meeting with the residents of Vrindavan. The meeting of Radha and Krishna during this occasion is a very pathetic story, and Lord Sri Chaitanya, in the ecstasy of Radharani, always pinned for Lord Sri Krishna at Jagannath Puri. While Arjuna was at Dwarka, he wanted to have Subhadra as his queen, and he expressed his desire to Lord Krishna. Sri Krishna knew that his elder brother, Lord Baldev, was arranging her marriage elsewhere, and since he did not dare to go against the arrangement of Baldev, he advised Arjun to kidnap Subhadra. So when all of them were on a pleasure trip on the Raivat hill, Arjuna managed to kidnap Subhadra according to the plan of Sri Krishna. Sri Baldev was very angry at Arjun and he wanted to kill him, but Lord Sri Krishna implored his brother to excuse Arjuna. Then Subhadra was duly married with Arjuna, and Abhimanyu was born of Subhadra. At the premature death of Abhimanyu, Subhadra was very mortified but on the birth of Parikshit, she was happy and solus. Hare Krishna.
In detail, Srila Prabhupada writes about all the personalities who were present to welcome Vidura. We'll take this last verse now. Pratyujjagmu praharshena pranam tanva ivagatam abhisangasya vidhivat parishvangabhivadanaihi. Prati, towards. Ujgamu, went. Praharshena, prakrushta rupen harsha. They were so much in delight, as if their soul has come back. Pranam, as if the life has come back. Life has returned. Abhishangasya, approaching. Vidhivat, in a due way. Parishvangaha, embraced. Abhivadina, obeisances. So they exchanged obeisances, welcomed each other with embraces. So they were so happy because Vidura, he was always very compassionate to Pandavas. He did not take part in the war, but at the same time, he was always very much compassionate. So they all went and welcomed. So Vidura is a great soul. Even the sea, even Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, everybody went to welcome him. Okay. Neeraj Babu, please read.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pratyujjagmu prahershana pranatanva ivagatam abhisangyam vidhivata parishavangma vivadane. Translation by His Divine Grace, Iti Srila Prabhupada. With great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. Purport. In the absence of consciousness, the limbs of the body remain inactive. But when consciousness returns, the limbs and senses become active, and existence itself becomes delightful. Vidura was so dear to the members of the Kaurava family that his long absence from the palace was comparable to inactivity. All of them were feeling acute separation from Vidura, and therefore his return to the palace was joyful for all. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Yes. Therefore, his return to the palace was joyful for all. So everybody cried out of affection, and then Yudhishthira arranged, and there was a nice reception. So we will stop. Any questions? No questions. Evancha Kalpatavidesha, Vipassana Devacha, Patitamani Pavana.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna, Guruji, Hare Krishna, Madhuri, Dhammas Pranam.